We want to thank you for viewing the Bishop W.C. McClendon Christian News Show on today. We want to just send out our prayers to you, and whatever you need, God will supply all our needs according to his riches and his glory in heaven. He is not no short of his word. He will do exactly what he said he would do. I am a living, not dead, but living testimony that God will bring you through any situation. No matter what man may say, God always has the final say. I just want to encourage you on today, just kick back and just relax. We have an awesome topic on today, which like we always do on the 37th Street family. We want to shout you out. And Bishop W.C. McClendon want to shout you out on today. We love you and we thank you for letting us just ride on your shoulders, because this is all CEOU. And we want to just thank you for giving us the opportunity to just spread the word of God.
Yes.
Which is only because in the scripture says only what we do for Christ is going to last.
Yes.
So I just want to put the scripture with the saying that this is going to last even after I'm gone. The information that you're going to be hearing today and the information that you have heard from previous shows, it's only because of Christ we do this. We there's no shape, no form, it's all only what we do for Christ lasts. So to the viewers on today, we want to just shout you out. We just, as you noticed, we just had an awesome prayer. So I'm still kind of caught up in the spirit. So
Amen.
You guys give me some time to get myself together here, because I'm thinking I'm in 11 o'clock service right about now.
All right.
So I do want to just send out the shout and thank our producers on today on the show, Mr. Dave. Awesome man. He just take care of us here. And to all that are viewing on today, this is a W.C. McClendon Christian News Show, where all news is not bad news. Right. So we welcome you on today. I'm going to introduce you, and you know what I'm going to say, right? If you viewed the show since '89, that I do not introduce anybody by name on this show if they are under the age of 10 years old. So since our guest is 21 today, I'm going to let her introduce herself today. God bless and God keep you. It's
God
good
bless
to
you.
see my big sister in the building today. Oh, we're going to act up. This is family stuff, so I hope y'all really know what love look like, because if you don't, you might want to widen the lens over, because this is what love looks like.
Panoramic.
Yeah, can you I already know and I love you. I thank God for you just being here on the show today to bring out some information that is really serious. As we were sitting and we was waiting for the show to get started and getting prepped and getting ready, we kind of hit a couple of bases, and we still need to get a home run on this game, because it's down to the last inning.
Yes.
Well, let me let you introduce yourself by name. We're going to have her name you already know how it's going to be all across the chest, all the information, all that.
So I am glad to be here. I was so excited to accept the invitation to come and be a part of a conversation that is so needed, not just in one land, but across our nation as a whole. We are suffering through a lot of things, but my name is Diana Hill Green. I am a member of Solid Rock Church of God in Christ, where my pastor is the Honorable Dr. Superintendent Gerald K. Simpkins. We are housed in 2 locations, one in Tracy, California, and also Newark. So if you're looking for a place where the move of God is going, please come and see us. But my name is Diana Green Hill, and I am a clinician. I am a licensed clinician. I work in various areas of mental health. I've also been I also have worked with children as a school psychologist and a behavioralist. And so my passion has always been to have a conversation that is, circled around crisis and trauma, right? I work at a level 2 trauma center right now, emergency room center. And so a lot of things come in, right? Families are wanting to know why this happened. I work closely with, children and adults who have transitioned from childhood traumas to adult traumas, which really didn't go anywhere. They just manifest themselves. And so this is indeed a conversation that won't stop at one. right? It's a conversation that we'll continue to have, and we want you to be a part of that conversation. If you are listening and you're watching, get a pen, get a piece of paper or a pencil, whatever you can. And for you ladies, if it's your eyebrow pencil or your lipstick, write those questions down, because it is so important to have the conversation versus just perceiving what you think you know is not what you all know. So knowledge is everything, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation so that we can remove some of the stigmas that are associated with mental health and mental health problems and mental health issues, and those issues that are some concerns that people have and the views that they see. We want to debunk some of that so we can move forward and be healthy. Because if we're healing from the inside out, we got to know what's on the inside.
Yeah, okay. And if we heal it, we help it.
Yes. Absolutely. One to another. Absolutely.
So what made you want to get involved with this type of, I mean, because you could have been an airline stewardess, you could have been a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
But now you decided to, did you, some people, they get a career and some people are birthed into a career.
Yes.
I didn't want to be a pastor, so I was birthed into it. It was told to me at a young, but I wanted to be a auto mechanic. You know what I mean? So in your walk, how did your direction lead you into the mental health as you are? Because you named a lot of stuff there, and what making you stay into that position?
Well, as you said, you wanted to be, you've been called to be a pastor, but yet you wanted to be an auto mechanic.
Yes,
and so let me just say this to you, Pastor Lawrence. In the automobile field, it's more than just the engine.
Right.
So what you're looking at and what you're wanting to do is the same thing that I'm doing. We're trying to figure out how to run this
engine,
so that we can get to A, to B, to C. Because sometimes we don't get to Z at the end of our journey. Sometimes we have pivot points, and so we may need a tune-up. We may need a water hose change. We may need to get some oil, because we can't keep driving on empty. I love the field that I'm in because I have some personal things that have gone on with me, and when I decided that as a single mom that I wanted to go into just social work. Everyone just say social work, right? When I'm going to social work, and one of the questions as you matriculate into this development of school, they ask you why? Why? Most common is I want to help people. But when you go in and you really learn about what the services that you provide, is it harm or is it a detriment?
Okay.
You need to know, even being a pastor, am I harming the people that I'm covering?
Exactly.
Or am I a detriment? Am I deterring? Am I leading them in the way of truth and righteousness, right? But as a clinician, it's do I have the aptitude to give them the resources needed for them to go to the next level? Sometimes that will require me to do a hand over hand, walk them through that, right? And so what I've learned is that people are always wanting someone else to help them. And then there's also those people who really need someone to just sit down and just be present with them. And so I love the presence. I love the thought of how to navigate, but also because, as I said earlier, I had my own issues. This has been a development and healing for me. Right? So therapy is really the exchange of two people. I don't have all the answers sitting here.
Now you're in now how many years have you been involved with this?
So as a clinician, I've been a clinician since 2006. And I've worked in the field since 2001. So I've developed, matured, grown, and I've hit a lot of different areas, from newborn babies to adult seniors.
Mothers of the baby.
Mothers of the babies, and this is just a transition of life. So I've been through all the stages of life. And helping and supporting areas that I can. And it's really about, in a biblical sense, where we talk about one planet, one water, where God gives the increase. And I'm just a seed sower. I'm a seed sower, And I'm not here to fix the world. And anyone that tells you that they're here to fix the world, run.
You better run.
Because no one has all the answers. Right?
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked that question because I wanted the viewers, because you have a lot of people viewing, and a lot of people have mental situations. Some want to see it. So the reason I was asking you those type of questions is just so that they can hone in on this is really what she's doing. She is just jumping in here. She has experience. She has been in and she's active in it, and she's doing it now. You know, some of us, we lay down the plow. We don't plow no more, or we're holding on to the plow.
Right.
So with that, knowing that, now let's go back into the days. We were speaking earlier about back in the day when we did have family members that we titled retarded. You know, the bumper hat kid, the one was always busy, always doing something, always in trouble, always standing in the corner. Y'all don't know about standing in the corners. They don't stand in the kids don't stand in corners no more.
Don't look back.
Yeah. 1 foot up, you know, or standing in the corner from being bad for so long, you growing up the wall. You can see your head print going up the wall. Right. You know, those kind of days compared to these kind of days is a lot different. And what do you think triggered then to now?
So that's a good question. I don't know if there's a big transition of information in terms of how we acknowledge what it is, because your perception is my perception. And because your perception, you're going to perceive my perception, and then we're going to agree to our perception, and then we're going to align what we see, what it is. And that's going to be based on our past experiences, our childhood experiences, our inner child experiences, because anything that you've witnessed as a traumatic event, you can sit here and if we were to have a therapy session and I say, you know, start talking about, tell me how was your childhood?
Right.
You will more than likely start talking about some things that you'll go straight to the trauma part of your childhood.
Right.
You wouldn't probably recognize it because it's like, you know, when I was a child, you know, we sat on the floor, we didn't really sit at the dinner table, you know. Well, we didn't call it the dinner table, we just came to eat, right? And the newspaper was on the floor, we crisscrossed applesauce, and somebody had their foot over here in our plate, you know. But then we raised up, right?
Right.
And then there was those, like you said, you know, what goes on in our house stayed in our house, and we didn't really expose that cousin or that uncle or that auntie because they were always behind closed doors. And so there was the stigma of shame and guilt. So we didn't address that. Right? And so if you saw uncle, if you saw auntie, and you saw cousin, you just sort of like went on your merry way.
It was just a habit.
99.9% of the time, I don't like to say 100, you probably didn't even sit down and talk with that cousin.
No,
that auntie,
a lot of them.
and that
like,
uncle.
Leave them alone. Don't let bother them. Don't get them mad. So it was just a habit of just walking by. Just, hey, you know.
So what you are saying is that I was taught as a child to ignore what wasn't right for me and don't ask questions.
Yeah.
So I perceived that growing up.
Right.
Because now I don't have to see it all the time because we weren't at grandma's house all the time.
Right.
Now I grow up because I wasn't at cousin's house or uncle's house or my cousin, you know, my auntie's house. And so now I'm growing up and I'm seeing these now I'm recognizing because now I can identify that's what crazy look like. That's what retardation looks like.
Right.
Oh, so everybody that's over in that classroom over there looks like my cousin.
Yeah.
So they the retarded people. They need the extra help.
Or on a short
and so
bus,
we begin to
bus.
stigmatize, exactly. And we have already honed in perception.
Wow.
So what we have been thought to think
is what we think.
Is what we see, and is now become equal to what it is.
Oh, did you get that? That was really good. I have to dig that out. I have to make sure because you know a lot of people we go through situations and we make our own perceptions and our judgment on situations.
Yeah.
There was another thing. We only have like 28 minutes, so I'm just trying to get some of this meat for you because we want you to know the information when we bring the guests to the show.
Right.
Now the part about the fixing of this with medication, drugs. I mean, you as you look around, you see people that you say, oh, they're on drugs, but they're mentally is something off. because either they was prescribed drugs because they have a mental illness and they're not taking it. They haven't took the shot this month. They haven't taken the medicine this week. They kind of balance their everyday, just getting through. So they don't have the medicine or the drugs. What is the direction that we take on that when somebody's going through a crisis like that?
That's a really, really big,
I'm like,
but
would you
great
put them,
question.
lock them up?
No, because I think what I need to, if you allow me, I want to put a T-spot, right?
Yes.
And not divide, but just a T-spot where we can actually see. So there's mental health.
Okay.
And there's those that have mental health problems and issues,
Okay.
right? And so all of us in our world today, there's nowhere, we're not hiding anymore. We see them driving, we see those that are suffering.
Yes.
That are in our communities where we live now. They're in our trees, they're in our bushes. We also need to know that those are some people who don't have mental health issues, but actually are just living from day to day because there's nowhere else to go. So again, there's the perception of what we see because we've been taught to ignore. Perception of what we see because we've been taught as a child to ignore. Because that is what you call crazy. That is what you call stupid. That is what you call never me.
Yeah.
But those are people. Someone's child, someone's uncle,
mother.
Someone's brother, the little babies, right? I've worked for a nonprofit in Hayward, big nonprofit in Hayward, and we used to go into the Gruts.
Okay.
And it's a community that is within a community.
Okay.
It's everything is there. The governor, there's the person who runs the encampment. You pay to live in the encampment. You have to pay your dues to live in the encampment. There's order in the encampment. There's penalty in the encampment. I mean,
so there's laws.
There's laws in the encampment.
What?
These are the people that you don't see behind.
Right.
That you and the police can't even go without permission.
The underground.
The underground.
Yeah.
So what you see above is not always everybody that is just, they're mentally unstable.
Okay.
They came from somewhere first.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
We're all are just, I think there's just this cliche where we used to say, we're just a paycheck away, a paycheck away, right? And then where will we go?
Oh, we'll be out there like that.
Well, where will we go?
Some will go to mama's house. Some
if it's
will go
available.
somewhere.
Where will we go? If you haven't ever experienced the stressor of just not the unknown, it is gravely distressing.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's mental health, as I was going to say, and then there's those that have mental health disabilities, which there are some people who have birth defects, right? And so those birth defects come from them because it's genetic, right? There are some birth defects that are genetic. Some does not manifest themselves, like schizoaffect, right? Schizophrenia. That's you don't see that until the age appropriate time. Well, it's an age. There is an age for it, the age of development for that. Like Alzheimer's, there's an age development for that. And you're like, oh wait, I just saw auntie and uncle just
doing fine.
What? Because there's an age development. Science has developed, has made a pivot point to say we will probably see this. Right? At this age, right? And so whereas cousin was just doing fine and all of a sudden you're like, wait. But again, because we grew up with what we see and was taught to ignore, we just kept moving. So that's what we do. We have learned to ignore. Whereas one day before, growing up, we can walk down the street. You guys can attest to this. And we would go to the other side. Mom say, you better not walk. You walk to the other side. If they look like this, you walk to the other side.
The street.
Today, we'll walk in here with all that's going on outside in front of us, and we'll just ignore it, keep on walking, and come through the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so oftentimes what we do is because we feel like we've exhausted all that we can do. Mm-hmm. Having a conversation brings continuity to how we can learn how to care for one another the way we used to. Because in my living, or in my community where I grew up in Oakland, it was about that's Miss Johnson, baby.
Yeah, we knew each other. Yeah.
Oh no, we can't. Oh no, we help.
No,
yeah, we see what we can do.
We ain't gonna ignore.
No, we did not ignore. Because everybody was in the village, and everybody, did you hear me? Everybody was in the village.
Yeah.
And everybody took care of everybody in the village. Yeah. If you went to school and Miss Johnson saw that you cut, rest of so, she coming to tell Mama now. And you knew the repercussion of that.
Oh, back in my days, the whooping started right then, instantly. Yeah.
So
the neighbors started whooping instantly.
Yeah, I remember that.
When you're acting up in school, and then as you moved on to dad getting off of work, it continued. Yeah.
Can you think of the mentation that you had, the fear that consumed you, right? Yeah. Knowing that he was on his way and you're anticipating.
Yeah.
The fear consumed you. You couldn't really breathe. You couldn't eat. You couldn't be still. You're like, I hope he just come in and just
take a nap.
But no. And so that is the mental stress of the unknown, right?
Right.
Because you know, because you felt it.
Right.
You felt what that's going to.
You already knew. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether it was, used by a foreign object, whatever the case may be, you knew that it was going to be a repercussion to that. Mm-hmm. You have mental illness, there's no repercussion.
There's nothing.
We've looked at it, perceived it, and ignored it to walk through. That we don't look at it being, oh no, that's not my issue.
Yeah,
I'll never be there. Do you think all these people that are around us that we see day to day that are walking and talking and looking through garbage cans and all of that, where are we going to lock them up at? Prisons are full.
Already.
But why would they're already in an internal prison.
Wow.
We have a lot of work to do. Faith-based organizations, community resources, our own individual, restoring family structures so that families can now know, because we've been taught, again, remember that whole ignored, right?
Yeah.
The perception of ignoring, because we don't want to be, we did not want that stigma associated with our family.
Right.
And so, not mine.
Right.
No.
But back in the day, we used to have the boys club, the girls club, the YMCA, the summer camps, the gym, I'm not talking about the weightlifting gym.
Right.
The go and work out gym. I'm talking about the gym where we can go and play basketball inside of a gym, volleyball inside of a gym.
Or at the local school.
Oh, yeah,
you were going to school ground.
Yeah, the school was open.
They're all locked now.
Summer school, and all kind of activities for my generation when we was young. It's just so many. But now it done changed.
Even churches. Can I just add? Can I add in faith-based?
Yeah. Open on Sundays, closed on.
But when we grew up, it was what drew us in. Because Mom and them had stuff that they were doing, and because of VBS, it saved our lives.
Bible school. That's why I learned how to read in church. I didn't learn at the public school. I didn't read at school. I tell people that story all the time because when I was growing up, we spent a lot of time in the house of the Lord. I wasn't at the club. I didn't grow up in the club. I grew up. My parents was at the church. They was in the choir. They was the minister. There was a deacon. This is our life. The Bible, we lived it. We didn't fake it. We was really there. And so all of my reading in the Bible was read through a Bible to where I learned how to read, not in school.
Right.
And all of my training. But now it's different now. It's not, you remember Vacation Bible School where they used to give you the punch and the cookies?
Yeah.
And they taste a little different.
And the free lunch.
Yeah. The oranges and apples are a little different, but it just did something. But so you was looking forward to the next summer, and the next summer when you're out of school. The next summer, we have kids now that they don't even go outside.
Right. And to that point, you know, the family's dynamics and the family structures don't look the same.
Yeah.
So grandparents are taking care of their children's children. Aunties and uncles are now fostering their siblings' children just to sort of keep them in there. Because even if I were to go back to grandmama and them then, grandmama and them then would take their grandchildren because the auntie or the mother or the parent of that child is now, you know, infused with drugs, and they're making choices that are not healthy, but didn't want the child to be in the system, didn't want their, because again, stigma.
Right.
But because grandma wasn't able to, now she's now a single mom again, raising, you know, her grandchildren and sometimes her great grandchildren, because there's nowhere else to go. She's made as much as she can to stabilize the home. She was the monarch for everyone, and now that she's so feeble, no one is there for her. Yeah. Because I got to now go do my own thing. And so, can you think about if you were to take on that mental structure of just trying to figure out, well, what about me? In the alone time, the quiet time. Because in our mental state, well, if we were to walk outside, I told you about a person I saw outside, they're having a conversation and no one is there. So we think. So we think. So we think. Because before we had the earphones, people were walking down the street and you're like,
we singing and talking.
They talking to themselves. And then when we... So there's a lot of conversations that are happening. There's a lot of, you know, plans and strategic ways in which we could, you know, not attack, because there used to be these words of, let's attack mental health, let's attack this, you know, and it's like, no, it's not competitive, right? It's really about like, let's talk about what it is that I can do, and coupling with what is already being done, because there's so many networks out there.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot, but if no one works,
nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done. And so our streets become covered with our cousins that we didn't know was our cousin. Yeah. And then our cousins that, because the homelessness is just a wave. Yeah. What you don't see is that they come down and then they uproot them and they push them out the way, and then they have to go somewhere else. So they know how to migrate, and then they come up, they uproot them again, and so another wave come behind. That's why the homelessness population doesn't really have an ending date to it, because we're not treating. It's more than just housing. Is having an opportunity where they can restore life to whatever normalcy that means for them. You know, what's normal for you is not going to be normal for somebody else anymore. Right? Anymore.
We want to thank you for watching the W.C. McClinton Christian News Show on today. This is part 1. We'll be having part 2 real soon. We want to thank our very special guest for all the healthy information that she has just given you. And like she said earlier, make sure you had your pencil and paper. Now flip the empty side of your paper and keep your pencil sharp, because we're headed to our next part 2 of this show. We want to thank you again for viewing the W.C. McClinton Christian News on today. I'm Pastor Lawrence J.
I'm Sister Diane Green.
And may God bless and keep you. All news is not bad news.
Yes.
Let me say